So, Major League Soccer, more than a game, more than a business. It's about St. Louis's reputation as a big league city, and Ruth Ezell is here to dig deeper into that issue.
Well, Jim, there are plenty of things on the plus side for St. Louis, but also some things that need to be addressed, fixed, and remedied. And joining us is Kitty Ratcliffe, the president of Explore St. Louis, which promotes conventions and tourism in St. Louis City and County. Before we get into that, did you watch the World Cup? I could not. I was glued.
I think everybody in St. Louis was glued because there's an identity now that we can all relate to.
Precisely, yeah. And now you can imagine maybe one day.
Maybe one day we'll be there.
Yeah. So we have a new soccer team, but that's not the only new sports that's coming to town. New team that's coming to town.
No, we also have the BattleHawks. We're seeing the return of the XFL. They'll be playing in the Dome about the same time as the MLS team starts. So a lot of new activity in the downtown area.
Yeah. So it's been about a month since a deal was reached to divide up the settlement money from the lawsuit against the Rams in the NFL. Now, I know Explore St. Louis isn't going to see any of that money, but there is some money that's going to benefit a facility that your agency operates.
We do. The city owns the convention center, and the RSA, the Regional Convention and Sports Authority, owns the Dome. We manage both of those as one combined complex, the America Center complex. So as you said, none of the money is going to come to us directly, but our whole goal in utilizing those facilities is to attract people from outside of St. Louis to come in. That economic activity, that's new money coming into our region, puts our people to work, supports our businesses. And so we're very pleased that there's some money that is coming to both of those facilities. That the Dome will have some long-term maintenance, which has been a concern of ours, that would not be the case. There was not really a provision for any new money coming in to maintain the Dome after 2024. But now there will be some maintenance money because we've got events booked in there all the way through 2030 right now. Mm-hmm. And then also some improvement money, a little bit of improvement money for the Dome, and about $30 million of improvement money that will go into the convention center expansion and improvement plan that's undergoing now, that the city owns.
A few days after this interview was recorded, Ratcliffe told a city agency that while phase 1 of the project could be completed, there was not enough money to complete phase 2, leaving the future of the city-county project in question. A later statement expressed confidence that the project's full scope would be resolved. Meanwhile, the business of events, conventions, and promoting St. Louis moves forward. I know you've been quoted as saying, just because the Rams aren't in the Dome, it doesn't mean it's empty. So what's been going on?
Well, it never was empty. I think a lot of people in St. Louis thought the only thing that was ever in it were the football games that they went to and loved, enjoyed, and had a great time. But it was a football stadium, and that's all they ever could see it as. But we always had control of the space outside of the football season. And so every year since it was open in the non-football season, we had conventions in there, we had amateur sporting events, we had public shows like, the car show or the RV show or the home and garden show. Dirt shows, Monster Jam, and Supercross. So lots and lots of activities. What the NFL departure gave us the permission to do was provide additional weeks of availability, which has really meant that we've been able to bring some concerts in and some other things that book more short term that we wouldn't have been able to do before. So it's never been empty, and it's still not empty.
Okay. In terms of the challenges that you face, I would imagine the single biggest thing is downtown crime. I don't know what kind of relationship you have with public safety officials. Are they keeping you in the loop as to what's being done to remedy that?
Yeah, I mean, we're a marketing organization for both the city and the county, as you noted. But the big hub of the tourism activity that comes in large numbers is around the largest venues, and those are mostly in the downtown area. Mm-hmm. So you just profiled the new MLS stadium, which is so exciting, but also Busch Stadium and Enterprise Center and the Convention Center and the Dome. And so when we have large groups coming in, anywhere from a 10,000 person convention to a 30 or 40,000 person convention, or 43,000 people at Busch Stadium. You've got this large influx of people coming in, which also might bring out, some of the unsavory types who view it as an opportunity. So we work very closely with the police department themselves, and also with the downtown CID, which is the Downtown Community Improvement District. They have a contract with the police department and with third party to provide supplemental public safety. And we just work with them to identify what groups we have coming in, when, what their hours are, where they're staying, where they're meeting. And so everybody works together to try to make sure that the visitors who come have a really good experience.
So can you give us an idea of what kind of things are coming up for 2023?
Oh my gosh. Well, we just talked about two of them.
Yeah.
The new MLS team coming in, the new BattleHawks coming in. But there's so many other things that are happening in other venues around that bring people here. So everything that's been happening at Union Station is absolutely amazing in these past few years. And they're adding some more venues under the shed in Union Station that will help to attract new people. You've got all the development that's been happening at the Foundry, and they're adding more things in. And the Armory just opened this week, which, we haven't seen the Armory open in a couple of decades. What exciting things. And those are all in, kind of in the downtown to midtown area of St. Louis. But many other things happening all around the region. Everything that's happened at the factory and out in Chesterfield Valley and in Chesterfield with the development of all kinds of new venues. It's booming. So we're really pleased. There's lots of things to bring people to our community for many different experiences. All the great visitor attractions that we have and all the improvements that the zoo and Six Flags and all of them are continuing to do. So lots to look forward to in 2023.
Thank you so much, Kitty Ratcliffe, for joining us today.